Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Elite Vortex Racing F1. I am your commentator, Sam, and tonight we are at the Mexican Grand Prix circuit. I cannot remember the exact name. It's Jose something Rodriguez. Anyway, so we're getting underway for qualifying tonight. Only 15 people here, but with Montana only needing 2 points to win the Drivers' Championship, then that's all he's got to do. McLaren have already clinched the Constructors' Championship as well in this tier, but I'm just wondering how everyone else will do here tonight. Only 15 people here tonight. We have had undoubtedly a few issues with attendance, and we will get through this tonight, and obviously in future reference as well. Montana is our first person out tonight. We did expect a lower attendance towards the end of the game cycle anyway. We're not the only league that has been affected by it. We've just had a major decrease in the last few weeks. Anyway, Montana is the first person out on the lap. It looks like we're going for dries. However, they're all starting on the softs. I could suggest wet weather. I'm just going to say that. We could expect a bit of wet weather later, further down the line, suggesting that by obviously the softs. I'm hoping the F1 2020 game. Let's talk about this just quickly. Well, obviously we wait for the first laps, and let's just be a little bit inventive here and try something a little different. Talk about the F1 2020 game that's coming out in a few weeks. Of course, interestingly for the spectator mode, they've got a lot of new stuff, analysis as well. I think that could be interesting, and if they have a weather system as well, that'd be perfect. But there's a lot really to talk about F1 2020, and they haven't really exposed too much about the online, but it looks quite promising for us commentators, so I'm very excited about that. However, Montana does come onto his lap now, the championship leader and the man who only needs 2 points to win the championship tonight. Starts his flying lap. He's the first one on a flying lap as well. No one else on one currently. I just want to mention also, Jack could not make it with me tonight. He had an emergency thing to go on to, so unfortunately he's not here with me tonight, so I'm all by myself again. Montana though into the corners now, very tricky section here, and does he get around it pretty well? A little bit of hesitating through the corners, but now he's coming through the tricky S section again, another heavy section. This is quite a difficult track for many. Many have struggled with this track, and I'm going to tell you this now for Montana. He's coming through these corners blisteringly quick on the exit of that final S there, and he's obviously got purple because no one else has done it. I think Gil is the next. No, he isn't, perhaps? I don't know. Sem is not on a lap. He's an out lap, and the Renault, which would be Zach, he's not on a lap either. So it must be Gil who's next across the line. However, Montana crosses the line, and for a first banker lap, it's a high 1:13. How about Gil then? Gil is going to be the next person to set a lap as he comes through to the final corner now. And he's already ran out of VRS. This is not good for Gil. It's a 1:14.4. Don't want to be setting times like that. That's not a top time, especially for a banker. It's not too bad. One thing I want to mention is a lot of people are a little bit shaky about this track. We've seen this with Onyx, 3/10 down there. Midnight though, just off Montana. This is only a banker lap, let's not forget, but a lot of people have said they have not raced Mexico in ages. So that's going to be very difficult for them because they've got to learn all the track again. Who we got next then? We have Sem on a lap right now, LR Sem, coming through the S section right now. Have we got anyone furthermore up there? There may be Alpamet K. Yes, it is. As he will come across the line. And he does put his car in 5th. That's the slowest time so far. Sem is going to be next, I believe. And he's invalidated. Sem invalidates his lap. So, never mind for LR Sem. Doesn't matter. A 14.3, but it didn't matter in the end. He did invalidate his lap. And Dylan Warren has done the same. Same with Super Guy. A lot of people invalidating their laps. Luke on a lap right now, 15th. Oh, we've got to be careful. We cut the corner a bit there, but didn't get anything for it anyway as he comes across the line. But he's going to come into the pits. He's made a mistake on his lap as well. A lot of drivers making mistakes. Yost as well, not setting a lap time. And TTG Dylan Warren sets on for a second lap. This track is quite high in deg, not gonna lie. It's one of those higher tracks with degradation. So Dylan will have to worry a little bit. Not too much though. The Racing Point driver has a good first sector there. We'll see his sector time pop up. It's a 27.7 there. Not too bad at all, but he's got a bit of traffic ahead of him. Shouldn't need to worry him too much, as there goes NSX Fruitful, letting him pass, but goes very wide there. Dylan, he does get away with it though a little bit, and through the S section he goes now, goes very wide again, and that's another invalidation for the Racing Point driver, as he'll have to come back very soon, come back around quick as well. Caden is on an outlap, so he's not going to worry him too much. Yost, he's invalidated his lap. That is not good for Yost, so Yost will come into the pits as well. So a lot of drivers seeming to invalidate around this track. Is that Caden now coming onto a flying lap then? So let's see how Caden can do. He's got Silas behind him, so let me just set that up. But Caden has started his lap, and now we have a run down to turn 1. And obviously DRS will be shut from that point. It's a very long straight, the first straight, but into this tricky corners, tricky hairpin sort of corners. And there we go, Caden's invalidated already on his lap. So now to Silas. Silas has not invalidated. He could get a little bit of help here from Caden, by the way. Because Caden right now is obviously invalidated his lap. He's got to let Silas go, and he has let Silas go. The Ferrari driver setting the purple sector 1. Which is pretty good through here. Now coming through to the S section. Almost pushing the cars right to the limit there. And through these corners, a little bit of lifting. Maybe a lot of lifting there, really, to be honest. As he comes through, as he purple sector 2. It doesn't tell me if he's purple sector 2. So he obviously hasn't got the fastest lap through that sector anyway. So now Silas, looks like a decent lap, but doesn't look like it's going to be the fastest right now as he comes through the final corner now. And here comes Silas. What time is it going to be? A 14.7. That's not the best lap, but you got to think that is his first Anna Banker lap. LR Luke then. This is going to be interesting for Luke. Pretty much half the grid still yet to set a lap, and Luke is one of them. As he comes through the not the S section, as he comes through the chicanes, and now the next straight. There's 2 big straights on this one, but a little bit of assistance and help there from his teammate Dylan coming into this corner. So he's got a bit of a toe there. So this is actually looking good for Luke, as he did get purple sector 1. Now coming down to the S section now, very difficult through these corners, and you know what, Luke has taken them absolutely perfectly into the next corner. A little bit of a lift necessary, and now let's see what his sector 2 is. He's purple sector 2 as well. You know, Luke could be on for a really good lap here. Gil, he's a little bit wide, and that's an invalidation. Gil there though in a very inconvenient spot there, and that's hindered Luke quite a lot. That was looking to be a great lap, but the McLaren driver was a bit out of place there, and that's not helped Luke out at all. Luke would not be loving that. Alpha Mats K then coming in through the first sector. He's up by the smallest amount. He does come into this tricky section, the trickiest section on the track in my opinion. Maybe the S section's a little different, and obviously the Understeery Stadium section as well, but this track is more similar to Russia really. It's straight turn really, except for this bit. The S section, as he does downshift down to gear 5, not really necessary, however he could feel for the need of extra rotation there. He is 2 tenths up right now, so he does move past the McLaren driver of Gil right now. And let's just see into the final 2 corners then. Very understeery through there. He'll come across the line. What time we're looking at? We're looking at a 1:42 then, as he does push past Alphamut K there. Sorry, past Giels there. Anyway, TTG Warren now coming across the line. He's invalidated his lap around the final corner as well. He seemed a bit all over the place there, but he does seem to stay out for some reason. Yost getting a tow from Onyx, his teammate here. Good teamwork here from Yost and Onyx moves out the way, and that's going to be a huge shoot for IGK. Yost here in 10th place currently, not set a lap time, needs one. And look at Onyx here, Onyx moving across the track, and now he's favouring Yost again. This is brilliant work from Onyx right now, as he does come out the way again there, and does assist Yost. Yost a little bit of a lock up there. Maybe a little bit overwhelmed by it, but mind you, there should be no more use for that. But Onyx will obviously now go on to another lap. The only one of the two has is to set a lap, so I favour the fact that they have done that. However, Yelt's now coming through the S section here. The S section, very tricky, almost invalidated. He's putting it right to the edge here. Yelts, as he comes into the stadium section, because it can be very easy to invalidate and be very understeery as well into this part, which is very understeery. And now on the exit, a little bit slidey, and there we go. He's got an invalidation there, and I think Onyx may be on a lap now. No, he's not, but there we go. It was very slidey through there. Fruitful's got invalidation again. Caden not setting an invalidation, but loads of people are. A big lock up from Caden into this tricky section. I was speaking to Caden, he said that he hasn't really done much on this track in ages, and he really struggles to find the braking points around this track, so that's really easy to see here. And he's very slow through these sections, very hard really for him through these sections, as he's still getting used to this track, and he's invalidated again. So Caden a little all over the place at the moment. Anyway, NSX Fruitful, who has invalidated his lap. Silas has not invalidated his lap, and he's also got a purple sector 1. He had that before, but it looks like his sector 2 and 3 were a little off. He's got the slowest lap so far, 1:14.7. But anyway, as he comes through the S section now, very tricky through him. And there we go. He's done what I said don't do. Just don't go too far inside, because you can easily invalidate there. And look at Lewis. Lewis has done the same there. Half of the grid right now are still setting lap times because they keep invalidating here. Need to be more careful. Luke is on a lap then. Luke is going to start. Oh, he's had to move to the inside there to get some slipstream from his teammate TTG Warren there. And that's not going to help him at all, but he had to move to the inside. However, Luke will probably get assistance from him again here. So using a little bit of a cheat there. It's allowed by the game, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. But there we go, and now into the corner he goes. A little bit of a lock up from Luke. Doesn't want to lock up too much. He needs to get a time in, Luke, because if he don't get a time in, he's going to be starting at the back of the grid, because that is where the game has assigned him so far. He needs to get a move on, and through the S section he goes. He needs a good lap, let alone one that's not invalidated. And he's looking pretty good here, pretty swell through that final S part of the S, and he's gone purple in sector 1 and sector 2. Take that with a pinch of salt. He's not invalidating where he did his last lap. Oh, a little bit of an oversteer there, a little bit slidey through the corner. And now for the final corner we go, and now on to the back straight, and it should be full throttle from here. What lap is Luke going to get? It's a 13.9. Pushes him up to 3rd place. And now we could see roles reversal here for the racing points. Is Luke going to be waiting up? He is slowing dramatically down for Dylan. This the thing, here's what I'm wondering, is the fact that is he going to help Dylan through the corners? Oh, but Dylan going very far inside, same again, but it looks pretty good right now. Dylan not invalidated from that, and he will get a bit of a tow from his teammate here. And Luke is now going to move out the way, and now Dylan's going to come into the corner. Big lock up. He looks pretty fine through there. And that's a purple sector 1 there, so he's setting the fastest sector 1 time, but Montana is by far clear by 4/10. Dylan going wide there again. He doesn't get an invalidation, but possibly lost a little bit of time there. through the S section he goes. I know Dylan's doing no line, so it's rather new to him, and he's got through it. He's got through it without invalidating, so a lot of people who have done it. Caden's put on the wets for some reason. I don't really know why. Anyway, through the final few corners, now Dylan goes. And Dylan right now coming across to the final 2 corners here. And here we go. Should be flat out from this point. A little late on the throttle, I'm not going to lie, but what time's it going to be? A 13.9 up to 4th place there with his teammate. Just what he wants to see. Caden is on the wet tyres. Shows he's obviously not coming out again or anything else. Onyx retires, so Onyx is not going to be doing another lap, and I think he's just crashed it in the wall there. So Onyx not really enjoying this track then. Yost is invalidated, but they're all on out laps. I think Yost will be the first one to start a lap. No, it won't. It'll be Lewis. Lewis is going to start a lap, and he's actually on the medium tyres here. So Lewis probably trying a reverse strategy here, which you could be interested in, starting on the mediums. That's what he's opted for anyway. Looks like Caden's not going to get out for another lap, and neither is Super Guy. Unless Super Guy and Luke are leaving it very late. Very wide there for Lewis. Lewis was lucky not to invalidate. He may have just done so there, you know, and the game's not told us, but he's got Alphamut K behind him. He'll be the next one to come across the line after Lewis. Lewis goes to the wide there. He goes off the track there, so not great. But Alphamut K now coming through the S section then of Mexico. I don't really know the corner names, so apologies. I don't really know the same section. And Alphamut K, he does do the same thing as what many drivers have done. And look at this, still so many drivers in that pressure sort of zone to set a lap still. No room for error. Caden's out on wet tyres, so Caden's not going to get a good lap in at all there, in my opinion. So Caden's got to be very lucky there indeed. Yost looking for a movement. He needs to get a new lap in. Montana's on an out lap, but Yost needs to put a lap in now. He's actually stuck with Montana. He's closed right in there. That's not what favours Montana here. Montana may be a little bit under pressure here that Yost has done this. Generally because Montana is now behind. They're both on a lap, but is Yost on a lap is the question. Yost is sticking there, and you know what? Yost is not doing Montana a favour, and Yost, that is not on. That is not on from IGK Yost there. That is not on at all. He's deliberately done that to take out Montana. That is disgusting from the IGK driver. Not good at all from him. NSX Fruitful then coming through the final corners now into the stadium section. The Williams driver doing brilliantly on his lap so far. Montana won't be able to improve his lap, it looks like now then, unfortunately, and neither will Fruitful. In fact, Fruitful won't even get a single lap in. Neither will Yost, and neither will anyone else. Caden won't either, because he's on the wet tyres. It was not going to improve. Only 10 people got laps in. Alp finished his lap. Luke now coming across the final sector here, looking to improve his lap. I don't know if he was up or down. He could be the last person to cross the line. We've got IGK Gill yet to cross the line, but let's look at Luke first. What time is Luke going to get? It's going to be a 1:13.7. What about Gill? Gill's in the wall. Okay, so Gill is not going to beat that lap, and that confirms Montana is the leader coming into turn 1 this round. So Montana has done what he needed to do, really, and he's put himself in a rather brilliant position now to maybe win this championship. He's only needs 2 points, and to put it on pole as well, it's really increased his chances by a very, very big margin. So there we have it then. Montana on pole position for this race. Luke in second, Sam in third, TTGD Warren fourth, Midnight in fifth, Geel sixth, Alpha McCade seventh, Onyx in eighth, Zach in ninth, and Silas in 10th place. Lewis, Yost, Fruitful, Super Guy, and Caden all failed to set laps. So we will get set for this race then. We've got 15 drivers all going for it. I've been saying hello Sam, how are you tonight in the EVR account. I don't know how I'm feeling really. I'm feeling alright. I'm not feeling great, but I'm not feeling bad. And Montana, I understand. I saw that on stream, and I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty annoyed as well. That was not right. And we will sort that out afterwards, definitely, because that was just not right. Alright, so anyway, we will go on for our formation lap. Montana does have pole. Luke in second place though, and Sem in third. These two, I believe, are good mates here, so these two could be interesting going down to turn one with Montana. TTGD Warren, who's also teammates with Luke as well, could be an interesting one to see. Let's look at the tyres here. Caden's the only one outside the top 10 that's opted for the softs. But look at that, Super Guy mediums, Fruitful mediums, Yost on the hard tyres here, and Lewis on the mediums. So they've all opted medium tyres, except for Yost who's gone hards, and Caden who's gone softs. So everyone's gone softs. Does that indicate to me that perhaps rain is on the way? Because I know this track, it's not... I know this track is probably not the most appropriate for the softs. Really, because I know this track is high degradation and the tyres heat up quite a lot. I'm just debating that really, whether it is set to rain early on in this race, hence the overcast conditions. However, I'm wondering if it rains around the time where the mediums are probably better than the softs. So Lewis could be in a potentially really good position here if that is the case. But we'll have to find out. We have 15 drivers here tonight, all going for glory, and all going to be going for it tonight. Montana obviously wins the championship if he gets 9th or better, but Geel would have to win this race if that was the case. But if he doesn't, then Montana is champion, and Luke will be doing everything he can down to turn 1. And we all know that you can tend to be a sitting duck even if you are on pole position here in this track because of the really long straight ahead. And that is not the camera angle I was looking for really. Just wait for the lights to come up now. And here they come then. We have 3 lights on the board. We all have 5 lights. We're ready to go racing tonight. And we are underway. Who's got the better start? It looks like Luke's got a good start. Montana gets a good start away. I think it's Geel in the background there making up moves. He's already up to 4th place here. Montana, though, getting a little bit of trouble from Luke just behind him. But look how compact the grid is just behind her. Look at Geel. Look at the send there from Onyx. Onyx sending it so far down the inside. And there's carnage down to turn 1. Onyx sending it awkwardly, in my opinion, not the place I would send it, and he's got himself wing damage. So Onyx, not really the brightest of moves there as he moves right down to 7th place. But Geel had a great start, and now he's up to P2. Don't really know what Onyx was thinking. He broke so late there compared to everyone else, and he just swept through everyone, and he's not improved himself at all because now he has wing damage. But now we have the two McLarens leading Geel and Montana. Gil had an excellent start, by the way, up from 6th to 2nd. What a start he's had. No one else really made moves. Fruitful is now in the top 10. And Dartbolt said he can join comms. Well, I cannot send an invite, which is really annoying. I can't send an invite, Jordan, but I can invite you to the party if you would like. But I can't send you an invite. I don't think anyone else can, really, unless there was a safety car, but obviously there isn't. Anyway, now, some people have opted to go into the pits. That's down to them getting wing damage. Luke has had no luck. Caden actually come into the pits as well. It looks like he's picked up damage at the back there as well. But looking at Yols. Yols came into the pits on hard tyres, so he's changing his tyres as well. There's yellow flags in Sector 1. What's going on? At the back here is TTGD Warren, who was again spinning. And for Silas, I believe there, who's both probably gotten an incident. But look at Lewis. Now, he's moved up to 9th place. Good for these medium drivers, because you've got Fruitful now in 7th place. And like I said, if rain is on the cards and those softs go, they could be the medium drivers could be in for a beneficial race here. Fruitful has won before this season. Super Guy, obviously a winner last season, and obviously you can arguably say he was going to be the champion if he didn't end up leaving because of league racing. He just fell out of it completely. But who knows? We've seen Sem win this season. We've seen Gil win this season. Montana win this season. Fruitful win this season. We've seen so many drivers win this season. It's been quite unpredictable at points, but Midnight setting the pace at the moment, and Midnight actually right behind Sem. He may actually go for a move on Sem here, down the inside here. Still got a long way of the straight to go, but it looks like he's got the move done pretty simple. And Midnight up to 3rd place, so he's making moves at the moment. But he's still falling back from Gil a little bit as Montana leads this race. Lewis and Super Guy battling then for 8th and 9th. Super Guy holding his position, but Lewis right behind. Looks like he's got a way better exit than Super Guy. Super Guy defending the inside line. What's Lewis going to do around the outside? Is he going to brake later? He does brake considerably later. And he also revs the gears out a lot. That's difficult around that corner. Super Guy gave space though, and Lewis is still stuck down there inside of him. And look how close these two are, side by side, and they're going into the S section. Who's going to come out on top? Super Guy's got the position out on top, and that's probably what he wanted to see. However, it's not all over just yet for Lewis. Lewis just sticking behind. He's actually got a better exit there. Caden already getting 3 seconds worth of penalties, so already that is not a good showing from Caden Forbes there at the back. But anyway, we have Lewis in 9th place, close to Super Guy at the moment. We've got Onyx further back in 10th place. He's 23 seconds. He's leading that charge, though, of the guys who have pitted. But looking further forward, we have Midnight now closing in on Gil, who's going to close in Montana. And this is where this straight could be crucial here, because of how long the DRS straight is. If you can get close enough, then Gil could retake the lead, and these two could be battling long term. But look how much Midnight has grown through those corners. He's really gotten close to him. Midnight, another race winner, obviously, this season, of course, and the current champion. But maybe this is his last race. He can say that he is the champion, because obviously Montana 2 points away, and right now, obviously, he's getting 25 points, so it's not going to affect anything. But Gil got the start he wanted, and obviously all he needs now is for Montana to drop down the field. And obviously Montana this season, looking at his consistency, looks like it's a bit too good for that to happen at the moment, as IGK Yost has retired in the pit lane. He's given up, unfortunately, which is not great to see. That's the problem with many drivers this season. They seem to have that give up attitude, which is probably not necessary and not good at all. Look at these front three though, battling it out. Zach is close to Sem right now. Sem could be in a little bit of trouble. He won't have DRS either here, as Zach's almost fighting the car around the corner. He does have the ERS there, but it doesn't matter because Zach will have it as well. And Zach has that DRS, and now around the inside he should go. Sem does defend the inside, but I think he's a bit of a sitting duck here, as you're on the outside. Does go Zach. Zach's got the position done, and up to 4th place goes the IGK driver there. And look at Midnight and Gil side by side through this corner. Gil there on the outside. Midnight cut across him to the inside, and surely Gil's not going to go for a move down the inside. Round the outside it goes. Midnight goes a little wide, a little unpredictable, but he knows that he's got the inside line there. But once again, Gil getting much better exit there. Brilliant from Gil there. This is battling to the next level here, and Gil moves up to second place. Midnight down to third again. Look how much this has helped Zach close in, and you saw these tactics last week from the two French drivers to close in each other and then to attack on for the leader. And Gil has lost a lot of time to Montana from battling with Midnight, and Midnight's going for it again, you know. Around down the inside, Midnight will go. It's probably not as ambitious as I would have thought it to be. However, look at these two going side by side here. Midnight down the outside, no space being given from Gil there. He's not given the space, but Midnight goes down the inside, goes a little wider. Gil gonna go down the inside. What about Zach? Zach's fallen back a little bit. He will stick with Midnight and try and get in his slipstream. There's yellow flags in sector 1 and 2. Nothing really necessary, but look at Midnight. Midnight does not have the DRS there, so this is literally a sitting duck for him. And Zach might go for a move on Gil as well down the inside, and he does do, and Gil's gone very wide. Look at Midnight round the outside there, and Midnight's going to get the move done, and Midnight looks like he's got second place as he's Zach still side by side with Midnight. And look how much this has drawn Sem into it now. Sem being drawn right into it, and Midnight going a little bit wide, trying to get the better exit at the next corner. It's not going to work. Zach pushing him out wide. Zach probably not being a bit fair there. Gil also was doing the same earlier. Two French drivers trying to work together really there, but Zach there pushing Midnight wide, probably frustrating him a little bit, but look how much this has helped the others catch up. Also Onyx and Silas are fighting for a position right now. Onyx here and Silas side by side. Silas into the corner with Onyx. Onyx going to get the better exit there, and this should be Onyx's corner, but look at that exit there from Silas. The traction he got at the exit of that corner was absolutely brilliant there, as he beats out Onyx and is fighting with Onyx right now, with Luke just behind as well. Luke is getting closer to these two as it stands, and look at Montana. Montana pitting already. He's favouring a pit stop. Look at these two going side by side. Oh my word, Onyx and Silas so close. And look at Luke round the outside, and that's when it all matters. Luke there and Silas going into the corner, and there goes Silas round there. That was never going to end well really, and Luke, I think Luke's letting him pass here. I don't know what Luke is doing. I think Silas is a little sceptical, but I think Luke's just letting him by, saying that was completely my fault. But Onyx will continue to go forward, but he's completely gone wide anyway. Now we have still this fight between Super Guy and Lewis right here. These two very close with each other, the Alfa Romeo driver and the Toro Rosso driver. 3 tenths between the two of them. These two have been battling for a little while now. Looking further forward again, Midnight still battling with Gil, Zach and Sem, etc. And there's yellow flags in sector 2. I don't really know who that is. No one of what I'm aware anyway. As we see Gil in third place, he's got Sem just behind him. This is a massive train for the lead here. I'm telling you something now, Midnight is in for a good show. Zach's decided to come into the pits here, and I thought he almost went out the pits there, so that would have been a bit funny. Anyway, we see Midnight leading the way then from Gil, from Sem, but we've also got Fruitful behind. Fruitful maybe thinking about it, needs to sit in behind though, he's definitely not close enough. Lewis retires in the pit lane. I don't really know why Lewis retires there. He was going pretty well. Did he get wing damage from Super Guy there, I wonder? Anyway, who knows. Fruitful now looking on the attack for Sem here. Down round the outside he'll go. Fruitful trying to get a good exit out of this corner as well on Sem. It looks like, is he going to get it? Nope. Sticking behind the Alfa Romeo driver, doing bits at the moment in third place. However, Montana is not far behind. He's only 14 seconds behind, and that just shows how much the undercut works compared to the overcut here. Expect Montana to be flying. He's already 4 seconds clear of Zach, by the way, as well. So Montana flying on those mediums, and it looks like he's going to absolutely fly by a bunch of people. But look at Onyx. He's 10 seconds behind Zach, so that incident he caused in turn 1, despite there being a virtual safety car, did affect him a lot. Anyway, Fruitful now in 4th place. He's still looking to get past Sem here, and they're still staying out, Midnight and Gil. Interestingly, they're staying out. Because, like I said, Montana switched on to the mediums, and if they do come off the mediums now, interesting. Anyway, Fruitful then looking for a good overtake here, and he's got it on Sem nice and easy. Midnight leading by 6/10 away from Gil, and then Fruitful 1 second behind. Who we got though battling? We have Sem still battling with Fruitful. Fruitful's gotten a little bit away though from Sem now, so that's pretty good. Anyway, Fruitful then closing in on Gil right now. No real overtakes happening so far. Fruitful's on the mediums, and there goes Midnight. Midnight does finally come into the pits now then. Gil now will lead this race. I'm surprised these guys were reluctant to come into the pits. And you'll probably see why in a second. Midnight's in his stop now, so Midnight will get out, and he does actually get out ahead of Zach, I think. No, he doesn't. So Midnight losing a little bit, and I'm just guessing that's really Montana's pace on the softs that helped. However, those mediums at the end are likely to be gone. So maybe what I'm trying to think of now for Gil, is he leaving these softs till the latest they can do? It's a very interesting one, that one is. And Gil's lost a bit of time to Fruitful. This is definitely the crossover point, by the way, and that's pretty rare. Montana gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. I have not seen that many times this season, but Gil is now losing a lot of time to NSX Fruitful, who on the medium tyres right now looks to be in a world of his own, and looks like Fruitful is definitely on for a good race here on the medium tyres right now, as he does take the lead, and soon Super Guy is second place. Sem does come into the pits now. Montana comes across the line to start his new lap. He's just had an excellent one, but Zax is closing, by the way, on Montana. And also Midnight as well, who does overtake Sem in the pits. Sem suggesting the hards are better than the mediums. Well, some have gone for the mediums. This is what I'm saying. Is there rain at the end, I wonder? I feel like rain is a possibility. Anyway, no real action going on just now. We do have Onyx, though, in a good battle with Luke right now. Luke and Onyx. Let's just stick with this for a little while as we wait for a battle further up ahead. None of them's got wind damage. However, Onyx has had a pretty torrid race today down in 13th at the back of the grid. Doesn't want to be there, as he does go for a dive-bombing move on Luke, and he gets the move done as well. That's a good move from the Haas driver, as how he sets his sights on a Ferrari driver, which he was definitely battling earlier on. But look at Luke, he's down in 13th place, 4/10 off Onyx already, so Onyx much more comfortable through the corners, and Onyx will go on. And Gil now with Alp, 3/10 between them, and this is another battle. I just realised this. Gil comes up behind Alp, by the way, and I don't think these two will pit again, unless obviously conditions change. But Gil now out behind Alp, and I'm just saying how much that's lost him time doing that, going very long. And I'm also wondering if the mediums just can't make it to the end now, because That's not looking good for him. We've got Caden Forbes fighting with Silas right now as he does close in on the Ferrari driver. Down the inside he'll go. And there goes Caden Forbes down the inside. But look at Silas breaking way later there. And that's down to Caden not really knowing the breaking points too much. I think Onyx in the background locking up as well a little bit there. In the background, he looked a bit over the place, but now as he catches up with these two drivers and now in DRS range of these two drivers, Onyx breaking way later than Caden. Caden struggling a little bit, but he doesn't know this track that well. So Onyx, he's a little bit of a sitting duck here for Onyx, and Onyx would want to get past him as soon as possible. And there we go. Onyx now up to 11th place, and Gil now going to close in on Alp. He's lost a little bit of time. I wouldn't have thought he would have sent it here. If he sends it here, that's a bit silly, isn't it? He hasn't sent it there, so Gil now doing very well in his McLaren. Anyway, Midnight in 5th place, 6 tenths between him and Zach now. I'll tell you something now, Midnight could be on for a win tonight. If things do go his way, he would need Montana to pick up some more penalties. He has picked up a penalty already, and speaking of penalties, he's already picked one up, so I think my claim about Midnight winning this race may be a little bit more of a difficult, far-fetched one now, as IGK Zach in 4th place, 4 seconds between him and Montana. But look at Midnight as he closes in. Look at Gil as well. Gil may actually get the move done on Alp here. Have those hard tyres warmed up? Yes, they have. So here comes Gil then. He'll come through to the inside of Alpamatke, and that's an easy 6th place up there. Midnight, though, sticking behind Zach just a little while longer. Onyx actually closing in on Silas there as well. We'll head to that in a second. Midnight battling with Zach now for position. It's not going to happen. Where is Onyx in that? They're still yet to come onto the straight. Just wait for them to come onto the straight. He's closed in a lot on them. Caden's lost a lot of time. And now through the final corner. And now Onyx is going to be on the charge here to beat out Silas here for 10th place. And here he goes. Luke may even have a little shot himself. Maybe not this lap. This lap may be a little bit too early. Onyx down the inside of Silas. And he's going to completely block him off. Silas is going to go for the move again, though. Silas down the inside there. It's a good move from Silas there. And this rivalry has been going on all race. And Silas and Onyx both get a little bit of oversteer there and have to back out a bit. But Onyx now going to close in on Silas again. And surely this is going to be another diabolic move here from Onyx. They get very close, and I think they bang wheels a little bit. And Onyx looking for the better exit here. And it looks like he's got it. And down the inside goes Onyx. And that's a class move. But Silas sticking there again. And I'll tell you what, Luke is loving this right now. These two going at it again. Surely they're not going to try and go side by side through the S's again. Oh, Silas a little bit slower through there. There's yellow flags in sector 3. There's nothing even going on at sector 3. Yes, there is. That's TTGD Warren. And now Onyx. Oh, he's pulled out of it. Good from Onyx there for pulling out of it. I thought he was really going to go for it. But no, he's just going to wait for the straight. He knows that there's DRS detection here, and he's going to get it. So Onyx now going to surely get past his the driver he wants to on this straight. And here we go, DRS now open, and look at Onyx now as he closes in on Silas. And oh, he's opted to the outside there. Maybe a little bit of a late lunge to the inside. Doesn't go for it. Luke a little bit cautious there. And Onyx gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings there. So Luke is definitely loving this battle right now. Onyx once again, he goes on the grass to go and get the move done. He doesn't get it done, but Onyx really now getting a little desperate to get past Silas. He's trying a lot of different areas, including going onto the grass there. So really risking it all now, Onyx, to get this move done. Look at Luke just behind now, 4 tenths between him. So Luke being stuck in this battle, if he can close in enough, he could actually get Onyx here. Looking at speaking about battles, so we have Zach and Midnight battling right now for what is 2nd place. I'll tell you something now also, we do know that Zach likes a little bit of a good dive bomb. A lot of the French drivers this season we have noticed like a little bit of that. And he's losing a lot of time to Midnight, you know, he's struggling behind Midnight, and there we go, he's got another penalty there, Zach, so he struggled a little bit through the S's there. And now into the stadium section, and he's cutting a lot of corners here, Zach, trying to keep up with Midnight. Midnight's just getting away, and once again these two battling for position right now. Silas and Onyx right now side by side in the corner again, and Luke's here as well. We're going to go 3 wide, ladies and gentlemen, here, and Luke may get them all here, and Onyx breaking wee later, but Silas does the right thing. And look at these two still going side by side, and Luke just sticking behind these two. Onyx, Silas and Luke are putting on an absolute show. It may just be for 10th place, but these three are not giving up on it at all. It's a point at the end of the day, let's just take it like that. But Onyx now into the points, Silas moving further back, 5 tenths, he's lost a little bit of time and now has to deal with Luke. We all know that Silas is on the pad, and through the S section the pad is significantly worse than the wheel. Well, that's what many people suggest anyway. But Silas now, we have known he's on the medium tyres, you have to reckon he's on the medium tyres, so he'll have to pit again most likely, and so will the leaders. NSX Fruitful, however, does not have to pit again, and this could be a good race for him, and he could end up winning this race. Who knows? Everyone's too far back, and it looks like Onyx has got that 10th place just for now. Silas breaking marginally later. A little bit of a lock-up from Onyx there, a little bit of a lock-up also for Silas as well, and once again a little bit more of a lock-up, but Onyx here getting a good exit out of the corner, and he should be fine. But however, Silas is coming back at him, and down the inside he goes. Silas and the medium tyres, a little bit more of a lock up there than Onyx. And look at this, these two going side by side. Around the outside goes Silas. And Silas is going to stick it around the outside here. He's not going to get the move done, is he? Oh, he's got better traction out of the exit here. These two side by side in this corner. This is not a corner you really go side by side at. And now Onyx has been overtaken again here. So I said about Onyx before we tried to get away from Silas, he's really not at the moment. Him, Silas and Luke are really in a good battle here, and Silas may get caught a little bit here. Onyx will stick behind, obviously for the reason I explained earlier. DRS obviously will be opened in a few corners time. This is a great battle though, I must say, for 10th place. A very strong battle. He has fallen back a little bit though, Onyx, the exit that corner, but he does come back now, and now Onyx is on the hunt. He's got a Ferrari driver in front of him who pulls to the inside. I don't think it'll matter. We've got Luke here. Luke using the slipstream there, and Super Guy's out of this race as well. He's retired for this race. He's made a mistake, and I don't even know who's ahead here. Luke has tried to make the move on Onyx, and we've got a safety car. Did Onyx get that done before the safety car came out? I'm just having a look on the stream. It says safety car here. That's a very difficult one, I must say, but Super Guy makes the mistake and brings out a safety car. But that, I'm pretty sure though, Montana is going to be happy with that. I say that, look, just look, that luck that he's had this season, that everyone said, oh, Montana, he's got the luck. I don't think this time he does. Everyone else behind him has pitted, and Montana most likely has to pit again. So, Montana now is a sitting duck, and if Gil wins this race, and Montana does not get the 2 points he needs, the championship fight will still go on. And Caden gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under safety car. Silly from Caden again, but oh my word! And with the safety car, if someone can, they can invite TTG Vaporeon, and if so, Jordan can join me in the commentary box for tonight, and hopefully we should see something fun here. Two Norfolk lads speaking in a commentary box. Very good. And Montana does come into the pits then, and maybe Montana a little bit more fortunate that he was leading this race. It's awkward because he's still in these conditions, and I think Jack is he's very frustrated, really. He must be like, come on, move, move, move. He's got to keep moving, but it's not going to work. And I said about Montana's luck, he does have a little bit of luck there, because I forgot about the safety car delta thing you had to keep in. If that wasn't a thing, then Montana would have been screwed there, but it looks like he does lead this race and fights another day. We do have Onyx who's coming to the pits on mediums. Silas has opted for the hards. Caden did not come in for any tyres at all. Caden looking to nurse those hards, it looks, to the end. With a major lockup like that, I just don't see that happening, but who knows. Alright, everyone has packed up. I'll tell you one person who's going to like this is the guys who are at the back. Caden, Onyx, Silas and Luke. They were fighting for a point originally. They could be fighting for a lot more now. Since the grid is going to be more bunched up, they could all be fighting for something a bit more than a singular point, and maybe one or two of them could be fighting for a victory here tonight. Montana is in charge of the grid. Midnight in second, Zach in third place. Safety car in this lap, and I'm telling you something now, these guys need to get round quick. Caden, Onyx and Silas etc. need to get round quick, and Onyx gets a 10-second penalty for exceeding track limits. I'm telling you something now, that's probably going to get removed. I'm not going to let that one stand. I don't think that was Onyx's fault, but that will not stand. I'm just going to mention that right now, and everyone now is ready up to get underway. It's up to Montana to tell us when it's time to go, and Montana, I think, says now. So Montana will get us underway around the final corner here, and the NSX Montana calls it perfectly, and another 3-second penalty for Onyx here. And we do have yellow flags. I don't think it was anyone necessary, but looking at Montana, he leads the pack well, but Giel now looking for a move on Zach here. Zach goes very defensive. Giel to the outside now. This is going to be a good move if Giel can get it done, and Zach moves to the inside, and Zach retains the position just for now. Looking further back, we've got Silas here behind. Caden is a little bit of a train right now, and he's a little bit in the way of Onyx here. Onyx to the outside now and moving straight back to Caden. Needs some more slipstream to get more momentum, and then down the inside he goes. And now Caden going much slower than these guys, and like I said, he's not been on this track a long time, so with no line he's a little bit inexperienced, and that's probably led to this at the moment. He's lost a little bit of the braking points. However, fruitful in 5th place. Gil goes a little bit wide here. Fruitful may want to close in a little bit more on Gil. Doesn't seem to just yet. There. Close between these 5. The top 5 and everyone else is going to be very close now, and now it should be a run to the line really for these guys. Montana set the fastest lap, so he's actually set a fastest lap from that point, but he's got well away from Midnight. Midnight's going to stick with him though. That DRS though is not enabled anytime soon, so Midnight really needs to keep with Montana, otherwise Montana can get away. And at the end of this race, those hards will be definitely more favourable than those mediums. DRS, if Midnight can get it here, it could be crucial to tell us whether he can win this race or not, really, in my opinion. And I think Midnight may have gone for something probably rather different, but something that could actually end up working if he can keep in within that second for a little longer. He doesn't seem to be doing that. Through here it's going to be very difficult to do that. Montana's going to have a lot more to him than Midnight. On the exit, he does keep him within a second, just about there, of Montana. Montana, though, doing very well at the moment, very consistent on his lap. He's under Series Stadium section, quite difficult for some drivers. Some drivers seem to love it. We'll have to find out who's the culprits to love it and who's to hate it. I think DRS is now enabled. So actually, does Jack have it? No, he doesn't. And he's actually out of a second as well now. So pretty different one to call. He's within a second here. If he can get a good result through this S section and stick within, then he's got it. And I think he does have it now. Nope, not again. He doesn't have it again, and neither does Zach. So Zach's moved a lot far back, and no one seems to have it. I swear it's a DRS enabled. Never mind. Anyway, TTGD Warren in 9th place. Has Onyx in 8th. Sem in 7th. 6th is Alpamet K. 5th is Fruitful. And 4th place is Gil right now. And the top 3 is Zach, Midnight, and Montana. And Caden Forbes has been disqualified for the session for receiving many penalties there, so not good for Caden. He's been disqualified for that. That's something he doesn't want to see. Anyway, so Midnight 1.13 seconds away, 1.2 seconds away now. Too far away from anyone else to catch up with him. 1.1 between him and Montana, 7 tenths between him and Zach. Gil 5 tenths away from that as well. No one making moves just yet. It's just a bit of a DRS train, which is not helpful at all. Sem maybe could have was looking at it. Didn't get it though. Silla's pitting again. That's probably to retire. And there we go. He does retire from the session, so everyone now will get a point if they do stay on the track. If you retire now, there's no point for you. Anyway, Sem now coming through. That means that Montana, unless he finishes last now, Montana wins the championship. And Montana gets another 3-second time penalty. That could play dividends in who's winning this race actually. And Onyx has actually left the session there, so Onyx I think is disconnected from the session here, so that's probably not great for him. He should have multiple invites to maybe get back in, but he also had a few. He must have a disconnection as well there. IGK Zach in 3rd place, trying to close in on Midnight. Those mediums now starting to come into effect more than hards at the moment. However, how long can their prime time go to the hard tyres? That's the main question. As he comes now to the first corner, Midnight in 2nd, Zach in 3rd place, and through the chicanes there, and now into a tricky start of sector 2 here. But look at Zach down the inside. He goes on Midnight. A lot of locking up there And Midnight's going to stick it with Zach here, and once again Midnight is in a French sandwich of the two IGK drivers, and in fact not anymore, as Gil squeezes him out wide and Gil gets the move done down the inside of Midnight. And Midnight now is going to be in a he's got Fruitful just behind him, and I tipped him that maybe he could win this race. I don't know. I still don't know if the mediums can make it to the end or not. They probably could. The end may be a little different. Montana doing a good job right now in the lead of this race. 1.8 seconds between him and the next car. And Montana 2 seconds clear now. Midnight 3/10 behind Fruitful. A lot of locking up there from Midnight, by the way. And obviously we talked about team strategy. These two are teammates right now, but I'll tell you something now, Montana wouldn't worry about that. Neither would Gil. They are Constructors Champions anyway. There's a 2-second gap now between Zach and Montana. Gil 7/10 behind that. Midnight 6/10 behind, but look at Alp. Alp's closed in quite a bit of Fruitful here as well, so they're all very, very close. So Onyx didn't get back into the session after all, as he moves further down the grid. They won't get a point because of that. Alpha K 4/10 behind. 3/10 behind him is NSX Fruitful. As we are in a long train right now of drivers extending to the two IGK drivers in front. And at the back of this train we see Sem, Alp and then Fruitful. No one going to make moves just yet, as Gil does close in on Zach, by the way. But Zach's trying to close in on Montana. He's too far back at the moment. But Gil is definitely not far back to get into Zach's head, because he's going to be closing in a lot more. Luke has opted for softs. Interesting. He's going for fastest lap then. Luke sees nothing to lose, in my opinion, and I don't blame him. He didn't have the race he wanted, so he's gone to opt for the soft tyres, and let's see if he can get the fastest lap, the final fastest lap of, well, this race. He's going to get the fastest lap. There's the final few laps to go, that's what I was going to say. As Gil now going to possibly be a little bit more under pressure from Midnight, you know. He's kept within that second. Fruitful 4/10 behind. NSX Fruitful coming across the line to start a new lap. Lap 30 of this race now. Sorry, lap 29, because Montana's already passed it. That was my fault. And look at Zach. I think Gil's just got past Zach there. So Gil will have the DRS there again, and he will get away from Zach. And maybe now it's a chase down to Montana now for Gil, perhaps, as he will cross the line. Sorry, not cross the line, as he'll try to cross the line, finishing P1. I don't know about penalties. I'm not going to have a look. I like to keep this a nice surprise for us all at the end and see how penalties affect anything. Anyway, Zach 3/10 behind, and he's sticking with Gil right now, and the more he sticks with Gil, the better. 4/10 behind, 2 seconds between Gil and Montana. It's not going to close in though anymore, as it looks like, and Gil going to be under pressure from the French driver of Zach, and obviously Fruitful behind as well. Midnight just behind them as well, so a huge train again. But Zach 5/10 between him and Gil. But it's a huge train here for Gil. He needs to control it. Montana 2.3 seconds clear, 6 laps to go. And Luke does set the fastest lap, like I suggested he would. And you know what? Dylan has done the same. So Dylan there tried to ruin the party of Luke. He's done the same as Luke to get the fastest lap. 6 laps to do it, Dylan. And Zach sitting behind Gil at the moment. Gil's still stuck behind. Sorry, not Gil. Zach's still stuck behind. Gil seems to be holding this train up. It looks like people are just sticking with each other, really. No one making moves. Which is disfortunate, really. But actually, Zach, we could be seeing make a move here. He's a little far back. And he does get closer to Gil. But no move is going to be made, just for now. Fruitful, also close with these guys as well. So Fruitful, very close as well. And let's see what he can do. And look at that, Zach going to the inside there, and Zach's going to get the move done. Luke improves his lap. What about Dylan? Dylan does not improve on Luke's lap, you know. So this could be interesting. But Gil then moving further back. Fruitful just behind. Fruitful's getting closer to these two as we go on. Midnight also sticking with these guys, but down in 5th place currently. And I'm saying this now, Montana has not won this race officially yet. We've seen him pick up a few penalties. Same with Zach there. I don't know about Gil though. I haven't seen many penalties from Gil. Fruitful in 4th place. Midnight in 5th. Very, very close. And look at Zach. Zach's made a mistake. Zach makes a mistake, and that's a 5-second penalty for corner cutting. A huge mistake there for Zach, and he's had to cut the complete corner there. But now he's going to be under pressure from Gil. And now DRS open. Should be an easy move here for the McLaren driver. And across the line we go. And there we go, down to turn 1. Gil has the position done on Zach in 3rd place. We have Fruitful 4th place, Midnight as well. It's still a big train here between these 5, but nowhere really near each other making moves. However, I say that Midnight and Fruitful getting very close to Zach here. Zach now holding off people a little bit. I'll tell you something now, Montana is in for clear stuff right now. He's 2.9 seconds clear. Look how close it is behind Gil. Zach 7/10 now, but Fruitful 3/10. Oh, Fruitful making a mistake. And Fruitful going well off the track. He needs to return it in a good manner. He does. Alp does pull out. Doesn't decide to go for a move there. No point. Like I said, there is DRS coming his way. Just needs a good exit though, because this isn't a train, remember. It's not like Onyx's, where Onyx was going to get the move done anyway because of DRS. This is a massive train here, but there's 8 tips between it, so it's not going to help Fruitful too much. Fruitful's just going to get tagged on though. Sem's also in this, you know, so a very interesting last 3 laps coming up. There's been a lot of penalties dished out. There is a lot of different scenarios that could happen. I've just dropped my phone. Lovely one. There is a lot of things going on. And look at this, 5/10 between him and Gil. And 3 seconds now, Montana is clear. He's well clear of all this, by the way. And Montana looks like he's going to end up winning this one. He's 3 seconds clear. I don't know what penalties are like for Sem, etc. Look at the gap for the leader. Sem is 7 seconds behind. I think I've only seen Montana twice. So that could mean Fruitful could still win this. Midnight could, but I think that Midnight's got penalties. Zach I haven't seen. Actually, no, Zach I've seen quite a few times. Actually, Gil I have not seen at all though. Really. So Gil is in for some good stuff at the moment. And lap 34 of 36 then. Montana 3 seconds clear of Gil and 3.2 seconds clear of Zach as well there. The fastest lap goes to Luke, so I don't think Dylan's going to beat that now. Unfortunately, he'll have to go right back to get it. But Montana looking very good for this win right now. Although just behind as well, there's a lot of drama going on. This is the battle for second place. It's going to be these three. Zach taking a wider line there, looking to try and keep with Gil, but it's not going to work. So I'm just trying to adjust my wheel. It's just about to fall off its stand, which is quite annoying. Right, anyway, back to this battle then. For second place, we have Zach in third place, catching up with Gil so slightly. Montana though is 3 seconds clearer right now. He is the main candidate to win this race right now, and he's just coming across actually to lap Onyx, and Zach 2 tenths behind Gil. He may actually get the move done here. Look at this, he does back out a little bit longer, waiting for it. We've also got Fruitful and out fighting for 5th place right now, so Alphamets K looking for that 5th place. But what about Fruitful? Fruitful's getting closer. Good exit from Fruitful, but Fruitful's going to hold him behind. And he's going to stick there. And I'm going to just say a fun fact. If anyone don't know, IGK Zach is actually a driver in Formula 4 in real life. That's a good fact of the day. I'm just going to point that out. So he's got a very good ability, and he knows how the track is like on real life, and definitely he could potentially, obviously unlikely because only 20 drivers make it really in today's Formula 1, but he could potentially make it to Formula 1 if he's good enough. And I'm not talking about the virtual Formula 1, I'm talking about the actual Formula 1 one day. Who knows? Anyway, Zach is now going to close in on Gil anyway in his Renault, which could be probably the car he's going to get anyway. Anyway, Zach down the inside of Gil, and that should be a certifying move. Look at this though, Gil is going to fight back for second place, but Midnight just behind as well. He's going to fight the 2 French drivers for it. But look at that, Zach will have DRS. Gil is a little bit of trouble here now because Midnight will have DRS. Defending the inside, Gil. Oh, it's close, these two side by side. Midnight down the inside he goes. Gil not giving him too much space. But Gil now back to the inside line. We've definitely seen he's had better traction for the exits here. And look how close these two are, side by side through the corner here now. Midnight on the outside, Gil on the inside. Gil tried to hold it, didn't hold it, and now he's behind Midnight. Midnight saying, I'm getting this podium, not you. Remember what Murray Walker said? It was not, obviously, I'm getting the podium. It was, I'm going for first. Speaking about first, look at this. Through the stadium section, we see all the crowd rise to their feet. You see the confetti everywhere because NSX Montana will win the EVR Season 2 Championship here in F1, and a dominating victory, 4 seconds clear of Zach, and he is certain to move down the field. He's had a couple of penalties. Midnight to second, no, Gil to second, Midnight to third, and Alpin to second. Alpin K gets his podium in the season of the season, his first one of this season. He finally gets it, and the 2 racing points who have just been going for fastest lap really now. And it looks like Luke has got it, unless Dylan can say otherwise. But we do have a world champion both in F1 and F2. We have both championships sorted as well in both those tiers as well, and that means only F3 is to go. And I think in F3 we are finished as well. I'll just try it and have a look. And F3's got 3 laps to go, but Sector is leading that one at the moment. I just wanted to mention. Anyway, like we said, Montana, the champion of Season 2, a dominant qualifying and also a dominant race as well, leads him to not just the top step of the podium, but a top step of the season, and wins the EVR F1 Season 2 Championship here in Mexico. And what a dominant season he's had as well. What a race it was. Very unfortunate for some drivers, but obviously for some, great results. And obviously for Montana, congratulations to his championship this season. And he had a very, very good season as well. So we will cap this off with saying this: Montana is your world champion and finishes it off with a bang as well. Wins it from pole position and wins the race in the end. Alphabet K in second place, and look how close he was. And I think Alp did mention he did mention something about Fruitful going wide, and if Fruitful didn't, then Alp could have won this race. But however, Giel in third place, fourth place is Sem, fifth place Midnight, sixth place Fruitful, seventh place Zach, eighth place Luke, ninth place D Warren, and 10th place is Onyx. But Onyx did not finish in the end because he disconnected. However, that was another great race, and now the championship is done. Montana will celebrate through the night as he's champion of the season two, and we will finish it off here really, because there's nothing more I'm going to say. But I will nominate 2 driver of the days, and I think the first driver is an obvious one. It's the champion, Montana. Simply just for his season, he's going to be my first driver of the day, because he's just a champion of the season, and you know, it's a nice gesture. I couldn't really think of too much to say, and I think my other one has got to be Alphabet K from 7th place to 2nd place, and definitely it could have been the win, 2/10 from it. That was his first win in EVR as well. But with that, I have been your commentator, Sam, and I will see you for some more EVR action in the near future. But from me and the rest of the F1 grid,